Well, I saw Elvis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the movie, not the.
Oh, not
Didn't
not an
I
80 something year
didn't
old
see?
like diner cook that.
Yeah, he was in a UFO with Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and I saw him.
He gave hand jobs to everybody.
No, I saw the Baz Luhrmann's Elvis.
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I did illicitly download it today, so I'll probably be
Let me
watching it
tell
very
you,
soon.
I was very into it.
I I don't know what I'm interested in this. I
I'll be
if
very
if
clear.
if
It's
if, if anybody's gonna make a music biopic that's not boring as hell, it's gonna be Baz Luhrmann.
oh my goodness. I'm not saying that it is a good movie, but it is good at doing what it wants to do.
And I've
Which
heard the guy who plays Elvis is just knocks it out of the park.
I mean, he kind of when he does the Elvis voice, it's a low husky voice, and it sounds more like Miley Cyrus than it does Elvis, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Kind of,
But
you know
they're
how
actually having him sing though, right?
it's one of
Maybe not.
I think that might be like a one of those little promotional lies that they do sometimes when they have
Hmm.
an actor who
It's
can't.
rare for that to happen. I'm thinking back on the Buddy Holly story. You
Where
ever
they
watch that one?
the you're talking about the one with Gary Busey as Buddy Holly.
Yes, they actually let Gary Busey do his own singing.
Yeah,
He did a pretty good job.
they
But
I think the official line on Elvis is that it's some of the beginning in the earlier stuff. They said that they let what's his name, the guy that plays Elvis,
yeah, new Elvis.
new Elvis. They let this guy sing in the earlier scenes of the movie, but then by the end, they blended his voice digitally with the Elvis, which makes me think like, oh, this is one of
Oh.
those deals like Haywire, where what's her name, that MMA lady, someone recorded over all of her lines. But then they
Mm.
said that they digitally altered her voice, but it's clearly just the lady from Just Shoot Me talking.
um, if they really do have that technology, I say release it to the public. I think we all need to know what we sound like with our voices digitally melded with Elvis's.
We are all Elvis. The president comes out and makes a statement. My fellow Americans, I've been goofing around with this thing on the internet just like the rest of you. Today we are all Elvis. But boy, oh boy, that
Yeah.
movie, I I have never seen a character in a movie so aware that they are the main character in a movie about themselves since Kermit the Frog. Just Elvis is like he's aware of the audience in like some sort of strange Brechtian reversal, and he's just doing what Elvis would do, like beat by beat the entire time.
Is he breaking the fourth wall in
He
the
never
movie?
breaks the fourth wall. The Colonel is the narrator. They another just baffling decision to have Tom Hanks do a very strange accent and then be like, "That's perfect. Now you're going to narrate the film."
He's just calling back to one of his biggest hits ever, The Lady Killers.
I mean, the Lady Killers at least is kind of like a kooky voice. He's like talking like this the whole time.
Oh, okay.
It's strange.
I was just picturing him doing a foghorn leghorn
It's
again.
kind of like a cross between like a Nazi scientist and the Penguin.
Well, maybe Tom Hanks was thinking that he could not only get paid for doing this movie, but also it's sort of like a backdoor audition to be the next Bond villain. I think we'd all love that.
Oh yeah, get Tom Holland as James Bond, and then Tom Hanks as the new. What was the?
Blofeld.
Well, I was
want him
thinking
to be
we've
the new
already done a new
Blofeld.
Blofeld. What if we had the guy that Christopher Walken plays that wants to destroy all the silicon in Silicon Valley?
Isn't that like the very last Roger Moore one where they're like, we should have put him down. He's in pain.
A View to a Kill. No, the Elvis movie, it feels like if it exists in an alternate universe where Elvis became the leader of North Korea, and then he kidnapped Baz Luhrmann to make a movie about his life.
Okay.
Fantastic film. I was riveted the entire time, but it has the energy of someone calmly knocking on your door, and then when you answer, they say in a soft, soothing voice, "Hey, check this out." And then they show you a car on fire in the middle of the street, and you say, "Oh, should we put it out?" And then they go, "Oh, yeah." And then they grab someone's lawn furniture and throw it onto the fire.
That's very exciting.
Keep an eye out around the 25 minute mark when the Colonel traps a young Elvis in a hall of mirrors and then proceeds to say menacing shit while smoking what is clearly a fake cigar with a little glowing light in the end of it. Well, now you're trapped in the hall of mirrors. Incredible film. It all takes place in the span of 1 week.
Oh, that's how you make a good one.
It's a time dilated Elvis tale. It's like literally.
That's all the things that I wanted to hear.
The worst 8 days of his life, and then he's dead.
So they didn't get into like when he started getting really into racquetball and.
Oh, it doesn't even address several like major family members.
Oh, okay, all right. That's
Elvis
probably for the best. And maybe we get the sequel where it's Elvis the Racquetball Years or the Racquetball Week.
They do like the sequel to The Lion King that was like what happened with the other characters.
Oh, Elvis 1.5.
Yeah, Elvis 1.5.
Yeah. We're gonna see what Pumbaa was up to during that week. Who do you think is the Pumbaa of the film? Is that Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks is definitely the Pumbaa.
All right.
And I guess then his wife would be the Timon.
I guess so.
It doesn't seem like they got along well, though. Not a lot of eating bugs together.
Well, maybe there's a lot of stuff in Elvis's life. I'm assuming we could probably have, however many sequels you would like.
I felt a little self-conscious about. I made myself a little gimlet. When I was drinking it during our chat, and then you just pulled up like a giant mug with a paper umbrella.
Yeah, I've got a paper umbrella straw today.
It says Palm Beach on it.
Yeah, it does. Well, I can't be in Palm Beach, but I can drink like I'm in Palm Beach.
I guess, yeah. I brought a knife to a gunfight as far as overdoing it with a drink during the podcast goes.
Well, I took your advice, and I'm drinking a Greyhound.
Oh, see, I've gotten into gimlets now. We're approaching the fall.
We've got more than a month left of summer.
Oh my God, I was not ready for that. I was ready for it to start cooling off. All right, I need to head to the Department of Corrections.
Okay.
I'm sorry, so sorry that I was such a fool.
Folks, I have really stepped in it this time. On our previous episode, I talked at great length about the artist who recorded the hit song Steal My Sunshine. I called them Lem
Len.
about 100 times.
Len, right?
It's Len, not
Okay.
Lem.
That's close enough that I knew that. I just assumed you know.
I should have been like, I'm doing it on purpose, like when people say, oh, bummer, or drumpf. I'm doing it to own them. Lem.
I think the way you really own the people is not knowing how to pronounce their name correctly.
I guess that's
and
true.
doing
Yeah,
it without any sort of malicious intent. You're not well enough known for me not to call you Lem.
You think Obama went home every night and he was like, I don't understand. I keep saying my name is Obama. They keep mispronouncing it. Oh, bummer. I heard someone call me a bungler earlier.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Len could have formed a supergroup with Lemmy called Lem?
What if Lemmy? Lenmy. What if they got they need somebody with an O so they could be Lemony? What? Oh, Monica. So it'll be Lemon.
Lamonica-y?
But then that would just be. There's no point in. There's no knee, right? I've completely lost the plot.
Also,
here.
we're leaving the M in the Lem part, which we were trying to make that make sense in the first place, and I think we're just compounding.
Yeah, Lenny, I guess. Lenny from Motor.
Yeah.
He called me. I came out on stage.
Yeah.
And they were all chanting Lenny.
Yeah.
I've told them so many times. I have that song. Well, my name is Lemmy, and I'm here to say. I like to ace in a spades way. We also need to do at the top a new installment of our segment. AJ predicted it.
Oh, I did something right?
Well, you might recall a few weeks ago, we actually chose an idea for a podcast called An Hour of Howling Winds and Bitter Groans.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we did a little test run of it during the show, where we keep goofing on the people in the Howling Winds they're bemoaning that they've lost all their money in bad crypto investments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read this headline to you. They couldn't even scream anymore. They were just sobbing. They gather on Telegram to let out howls of grief and short, sharp shrieks of pain. Eee! Yowls a woman. Wah ha ha ha. Well, it kind of seems like wah ha 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 ha. Wah ha ha, roars a man in a deep baritone. A third person wails like a baby. These are the victims of cryptocurrency bloodbath. 3,315 of them who've assembled in a bear market screaming group to vanquish to vent their anguish. I had a few people lamenting and crying, says the group's founder, a 30-year-old cryptocurrency investor who gives only his first name, Julio. I decided not to ban them. I felt bad. They weren't even able to scream anymore. They were just sobbing.
So, are you telling me I could go to one of my local churches and go to my AA meeting and my crypto anonymous meeting? Like knock them both out the same night?
This one is only on Telegram.
Oh.
But apparently there's a bunch of these groups popping up where people just scream about the cryptocurrency
I would like to bring that into the real world, let's have a meetup. And even though I've never bought any crypto, I would like to go and just be a fly on that wall.
Yeah. You could start a group that's just laughing that I never got into crypto group.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I would prefer to pretend like I got into crypto so I can be a part of it.
An excuse to cry without having to.
But I will have the group that's like, you've got to laugh, because if you don't, you don't want to be like those guys across the hall. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun over there, does it?
They have like okay, there's two exits, one for the people who actually lost all their money, and one for the people who were just here to see what these guys looked like. We can't let you all out the same exit. It gets ugly. The guy still crying, trying to go out the other exit to convince everyone he didn't lose everything.
But yeah, we'll send the laughers out through the gift shop. They're probably more likely to spend a little cash on their way out.
I lost everything on the horny goat NFT, and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. Do you have an idea for a podcast?
I do. This one is called The Sharpest Image, which it's just a little bit of one-upmanship with that title, but mostly I'd like to take a look at what the Sharper Image is offering for sale in this our year of our Lord 2022. As a kid, I remember seeing that store in the mall and always thinking like, that's what it's, that's going to probably be the store that I shop at the most when I'm an adult. It's like a store for the best adults. And I know it's still a thing. I haven't been in one in years. And I think that maybe we look at whatever they have on offer and give a little criticism of where they've gone and where they've maybe shorted themselves over the years.
Yeah. I also was like, I'm gonna have this lie detector from the Sharper Image on my giant desk when I'm an executive someday.
I'm probably gonna have to have a second desk, because the big desk is going to be just completely covered with all of my gadgets and kinetic art pieces. And yeah,
you're going to have the floating pen, the Newton's cradle, the bird that balances on its beak.
Yep.
Or perhaps if you ate at a Taco Bell in the late 1990s, the Boba Fett that balances on his chin. Do you remember that?
I do vaguely remember that, yes.
Kids' meal prize.
I had that, and I had one of the birds, so I think that I'm going to have to up my game and get me like an albatross that balances on its... Probably have to take up like a whole corner of my large office.
The hourglass that uses water and blue dyed oil to do... You remember that?
Yeah,
have that one on your desk.
I've got the little putting green back there too, and I would like to have the one where you can grow your own Bermuda grass in your office.
A little. You got a little bonsai tree. You got the thing with all the little magnetic marbles that you can shape into different.
I've got a few different fans in the office, but they're those ones that are just like a hoop, where you're like, how's it blowing air? I don't see any blades spinning. What is this, the future?
It kind of looks like a magnifying glass, but it just for magnifying air.
Which I think that there's just a motor in the base of it or something.
Yes, it's just
We just hide it from view.
They could have done anything, and that's what they chose to do. I always assumed that I would have to have a second desk for my crime-fighting alter ego, either as a spy or as the first actual superhero. I gotta hand it to guys like what was that fella out in the Pacific Northwest who tried to be like a real superhero.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He
I
ended up
cannot
just
remember.
like spraying pepper spray on a bunch of innocent people. But it's rare that you see someone who gets into their adult years and still thinks either I might be a superhero, the first real one, or
The one
I
you're
might-
talking about was Phoenix Jones.
Phoenix. I was thinking like Dynamite Jones or something. I was almost certain it was a Jones.
There are more of these people than one would expect. There's a Wikipedia page compiling them from all the different countries, and one of the earliest examples of a real life superhero was California's Richard Allen Pesta, alias Captain Sticky.
Captain Sticky. Oh, whoa! Did he make things sticky? I feel like he just had like.
I'm reading through this, and it's not really saying a lot about his powers. He
As much as, like, what he was
clad
charged
in a
with.
blue jumpsuit with a gold lame cape and boots, and he drove the Sticky Mobile. He campaigned against abuses in nursing homes, supplied information on health insurance frauds to authorities, and advocated for consumer rights. He testified before the Federal Trade Commission hearings in 78 and 79, wearing
What?
his uniform.
Oh my god!
He was arrested in 1986 when he rented his house to a film crew shooting pornography.
Oh my god!
So that's the closest you get to some insight into the name Captain Sticky.
Captain Sticky.
And now, like, I know that my podcast idea was about the sharper image, but I really think it should be about real life superheroes because there are a lot of them.
You know,
surprisingly.
it's what's funny is that there's so many movies made about real life superheroes, you know? Like movies where the plot is, what if a guy in real life tried to be a superhero? And then that's such a popular concept that they made the best Batman movies on that premise. What if a real life guy tried to be Batman? And it was still absurd. But what I'm thinking now is why is there not a genre of movies like that but for vampires? Because those people exist in real life. The people who were like, I'm going to be a vampire. Whether these books are real or not, I'm going to be the first to really do it. But I don't think we've had any movies about that. About the wacky hijinks and eventually getting into some sort of actual trouble that comes with being a real life vampire.
I think that there have been vampire movies where they leave it ambiguous whether the person is actually a vampire or just going through some sort of
course. The
Nicolas Cage movie.
Nicolas Cage movie for sure.
Yeah, that's not ambiguous, really. But
yeah, I would love to do a podcast about real life superheroes.
Okay, well,
we'll
put
put
an
that
asterisk next to that one, and it's just a freebie. You know, if we want to do one on real life superheroes, that could be very fun. There are real life superheroes in Argentina, Australia, Canada, Brazil, China, Colombia, Finland, France, Israel, Italy, Liberia, Mexico, Sweden, United Kingdom, United States, and they also have a real life superhero groups. So maybe
like
there's
teams,
an Avenger
like the Avengers.
analog. Yeah.
Oh my god. I noticed that China wasn't on the list. Actually,
China was on the list.
Damn it. I was just...
Redbud woman assists the poor in Beijing. She has been seen several times wearing black tights and a blue mask, handing out food and warm clothing to the homeless.
All right. Well, good for her. I thought I was gonna have a real gotcha moment against our enemies in China.
Yeah. They got that many people and they don't even have
Not a
one real
single
life
person willing to
superhero.
step up to fight crime. No, we'll add real life superhero podcast to the list this week because I just discovered right before we sat down to record that we have not gotten any emails or voicemails in the last few weeks because apparently our Google storage quota was met and they just froze our accounts. No incoming or
Oh,
outgoing
no.
traffic. So if you've been trying to call or email, we apologize for that. I deleted all the nude photos of ourselves that we kept in our Google Drive, and now there's plenty of room for your
All right.
calls and emails. Real life superhero podcast is taken though. Don't come at us with that one. I have an idea.
All right, hit me with it.
This is called the Winnie the Poohcast.
All right, I like that.
As you may or may not know, Winnie the Pooh has entered the public domain, and he's anybody's. He's in a room, and you can go in there for 5 minutes and do whatever you want.
So what you're saying is no, actually, I think somebody might have beaten us to the punch of the first hard R Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, I think
I read about that.
there is a revenge movie where Winnie the Pooh and Piglet kill Christopher Robin coming out. But we don't have to do that. We could do a completely different, inappropriate thing with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Maybe, we just want to slap him around for a while.
Or just introduce them to a new group of friends.
What if it's like those? It's like what was that movie with the alien played by Seth Rogen or Ted? One of those.
I think they both had just.
So we got our new podcast.
So this is just
called
like
Pooh.
Yeah.
And it's you and me and Winnie the Pooh, and we're just letting him have beers and watch pornography. We're just letting Winnie the Pooh just become a total shitbag, just like us. Hey, Winnie the Pooh, you want to hit this bong?
Yeah. Well, let's make some money, too. Maybe it could be like the tiny yellow bear of Wall Street. We can have Winnie the Pooh like doing cocaine off of hookers' butts.
I mean, if we want to go like Blockbuster, try and make as much money as possible off of this, we need to have like Winnie the Pooh. Well, I guess flying a fighter jet, and then we turn Piglet into a bunch of like Minions type characters, and then we've covered all our bases for the summer blockbuster films.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm most interested to find out is what the hell that weird little, would you call it a onesie he's always wearing? It's a piece of clothing I don't think I've seen in the real world ever.
You talking about Piglet's outfit?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's just his torso looks like that. He was nearly grilled one time.
Oh.
They flipped him over so he has the red body with black stripes across his torso, but his legs and his arms were spared. He was wiggling. Help, help. His E.E. Milne tried to grill him alive.
A.A. Milne.
Oh, yeah. Who am I thinking of?
E.E. Cummings? That's
right. I mean, it's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
A.A. Milne. He couldn't hold his liquor?
Probably not. Just stayed at home and wrote stories about stuffed animals.
All right, do you have another idea for a podcast?
I do. In this one, I might be a little bit late on this because you're already moving on to fall times, but this is the Beat the Heat cast.
Oh, I
Which,
mean, yeah, this is a perfect podcast for not only our time of year, but I think our time in the geological scale,
yes,
one might
and
say.
that's definitely going to be a part of it. But my vision for this one is we spend the first 15 minutes of the show just talking about the weather, giving out some tips on how to stay cool, and then when anybody who's not in on the know is tuned out, then we talk about how to beat the heat, as in the police. We give you crime tips. It's a 2-for-1 podcast. You
That's
get your one-stop shop for weather small talk and crime tips.
and by crime tips we mean tips on how to do the crimes, not snitching.
Yes. Yeah,
We're not.
I'm talking about like who got a big shipment of valuable goods in, and nobody's even watching it. Different hot tips I pick up over the week about and maybe this podcast, maybe we finally form like a crime crew.
I we
That's why
so
most people get into podcasting, right? Is to find like-minded individuals who'd like to join them on a violent crime spree.
we could do we could to turn off the police from continuing to listen. We got to make the first half a real stinker though.
Yeah.
Like we could do like like do you think we do 50-50? How long do you think we got to wait?
I don't know.
To
I
get
was
the
thinking
cops
about
off
in
of our
the
scent?
movie Casino, where they have to have 10 minutes of conversation, not about any legal activities, and then the feds have to turn off the wiretap, and then they start talking.
Yeah.
That was my inspiration for this, but I don't know. I think that in general, a podcast about the weather is about the worst idea that I can come up with. I mean, there's that's not in short supply. I would imagine most people get all they can handle of that.
So we could just start off the beginning of the podcast could just be us doing like a bad opening salvo of like, oh, it's so hot today that
Mm-hmm.
oh, how hot was, oh man, it was so hot today that I saw a squirrel putting Gold Bond powder on his nuts.
Yeah.
It's so hot that I heard that the governor of Pennsylvania has declared a state of emergency in Hershey. Andrew, it is so hot out there today that I ordered a twice baked potato, and by the time I got it, it was a thrice baked potato.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, it's hot outside.
It is hot today.
And now I'm regretting saying that it was that hot, because I could have asked you if it was hot enough for you.
Which,
Let
me tell you.
I mean, we're going to say that 10 to 12 times a piece.
Hey, is it hot enough for you? We'll just call it that. Is it hot enough for you?
Yeah.
Well, no, because we still want it to be called Beat the Heat.
Yeah.
That'll be the top of the show, is our segment called Is It Hot Enough for You? So it is so hot out there today that I saw an ice cream truck. They just changed the sign to say candied milk soups.
Oh, it'd probably be pretty popular with kids. Were you one of those kids who would lick your entire ice cream bowl?
Oh, absolutely.
And turn it into some soup, which disgusts me now.
Man, I tell you, it was so hot out there today that I heard that Mayor Eric Adams had to call for 30 million gallons of extra sweat flown in from Calcutta, India. So hot, I heard that bears have joined PETA.
And the crime tips will just be very accurate tips on places that would be safe to rob.
Man, it is so hot out there today
Mm-hmm.
that I saw at 7-Eleven, they've downgraded all their drinks. Now an icy is a slushy is a slurper, a slurper is a Sunny D, and a Sunny D is now a urine sample.
Now you've set me off because I have to complain about my local 7-Eleven. In these hottest months of the year, they cannot keep their slushy machines working. I've been in there 20 times this summer. I've had 0 slushies. They're
always broken.
Yeah. I'm not even going to call them their trademark proprietary name because fuck them. I require multiple slushies a week during the summer, and I've gotten no satisfaction this year. None.
You're like an old Southern gentleman with no little white gloves to slap people with.
Mm-hmm.
No satisfaction.
Well, it's like that, but I do retain my little white gloves, and I've slapped the employees of the 7-Eleven several times this summer, telling them that I demand satisfaction, but I've gotten none.
These little white gloves remain unstained by colored fruit flavors. Man, I tell you, it's so hot out there today that I went to Starbucks. I ordered a Grande Americano and poured it straight on my lap to cool off.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a policeman carrying a squirt gun.
All right. You need to cool out. Not just because it's so fucking hot, but because we need to save some of these for the proper podcast.
All right. I just saying, it's so hot out that I just saw at the art museum that they've moved Salvador Dali's melting clocks out of the surrealist wing.
Do you have another podcast idea?
I got one here. This is called The Perfect Candidate. And this will just be a podcast where we try and figure out what the perfect candidate for an election would be. I'm guessing president would be what
That'd
we're
be the
aiming
biggie,
for.
But I mean, if this was going to be a weekly podcast, we're probably any number of political races, and then also candidates for just different jobs.
Oh, maybe we do it where we start out at the bottom and we work our way up to president, and that every season we're like trying to figure out what the perfect chain of events. Like, does he start off as like in a log cabin learning to read by candlelight with nothing but a King James Bible and a book about bare knuckle boxing? Or does he start out as like just a meek haberdasher who ends up owing money to some wealthy people who tell him to run for president? Any of these could be, or he's the son of the president.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
We start there.
Have we had a second haberdasher?
No, we haven't. America's overdue.
We did have one.
I mean, technically, I guess Trump, he did have those hats that he sold.
Oh, there was a Trump hats?
Red hats.
I thought you meant like on the level of Trump steaks, like something I could buy in the Sharper Image. Like,
I mean,
a fancy hat for an upper class individual, not a something sold at a truck stop. I think that maybe when they look back on it, I think they might see Trump's presidency is a big mistake. Like it soiled his brand. He used to be, the richest upper crust, classiest sort of guy there was, right?
Yeah.
and now he's wallowing in the mud with like my cousins. Come on.
Yeah, so the perfect candidate is just that. It's just us we're getting into the micro, the granular details of what it's going to take to find the perfect candidate. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are they get this already half-formed thing, and then they try and make it into the president by telling it, say that it's soft on marijuana or something
Mhm.
like that, or it's gonna go on a popular morning radio show and say some silly stuff or make an appearance on Saturday Night Live. We want to start with a pure lump of clay from the
Yeah.
second they're
We want to
born.
steal a child and educate them to be the president. It's something that hasn't been done before. I mean, I guess if your dad was the president, it's kind of similar, but not full
Yeah.
on. Like I think sometimes they're like, yeah, he might be the president, but he also just might be a CEO or like own a baseball team or something like that. You know.
Yeah. Could just be like hold the record for most drunk driving arrests.
Ooh. That's one of those ones that I know that Guinness won't put it in their book, but who, I would probably buy a new edition if I could just find that out.
I gotta say, there's probably some very, privileged white guys out there.
Mm-hmm. There's also probably some people with a really bad disease where they just don't want to pay for their medicine, so they just keep saying like, "Stop it, you're free to go."
Though that DMX has to be like in the top 20, no matter what. That guy, it's
Rest
incredible.
In peace, DMX.
He just somehow kept getting his license back.
Yeah. Well, he's drunk driving in hell right now.
He's just crashing into Dale Earnhardt. All right, let's go to the Podtron.
Okay.
Folks, the Podtron 4500 is an artificial intelligence. We trained it by giving it a list of the most popular podcasts, and then it generates a list of new podcast titles that it thinks have the potential to be real winners. Podcasts like the Summer Camp Podcast.
Ooh.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the other day about how I wish they still had summer camp. And I guess that they do. It's just called renting a cabin with your friends.
Yeah, yeah. That is not exactly like summer camp, but only because it usually lasts like a weekend. And not like 3 weeks or
I would. The things that I miss about summer camp is there being a bunch of people that I've never met before there, that I'm either going to hate or have crushes on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why they don't do more grown-up summer camps, because in my experience, most grown-ups are trying to prevent their significant others from having out-of-town crushes. Seems like...
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, if they have out-of-town crushes, maybe they aren't having in-town crushes.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It could be
and also, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. And also, you just don't have them, under your feet all the time. So, go somewhere for 3 weeks, and I'll see you then. I love you, but...
you're sending your significant other to a different summer camp.
Well, I imagine that in most relationships, there's one person who's the summer camp person, and there's one person who is like the serious person who's like, just go away for a while. I'm tired of looking at you.
I had to get a job in the popcorn stand at the drive-in movie theater for the summer because my family couldn't afford to send me to grown-up summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is one of the main things about summer camp that made it fun and exciting, was that it was just literally you not having to interact with your family for a week. So bringing your family along to adult summer camp does seem like a mistake.
And you can make up a new backstory for yourself. You get to do that when you go to college too, but that's like one time. And when you're a kid, you go to summer camp multiple times. You can have a whole new you every year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, after college, I mean, you kind of can, but you're mostly done. So I think this is a good way to like. Do you crave reinvention? Come reinvent yourself at our summer camp.
Yeah. You can take a little piece of wire from a 3-ring binder and fashion it into a fake earring, and you only got to keep it on for a week. No one's going to know that you didn't actually have your ear pierced.
Mm-hmm.
Those kids at adult summer camp are going to think that you really are just as cool as George Michael.
Maybe that's the name of the summer camp, the coolest George Michael summer camp.
The George Michael summer camp for adults.
Yeah. I think that'll appeal to just about every market, right?
Mm-hmm. We got the two big logs within the thing stretched across with the name. It says the George Michael Memorial Summer Camp for Adults, the place to send your significant other so they won't cheat on you with someone from town.
Yeah, it's not only is it like a machine that prints money, it also sounds like a load of fun.
I think that's going to be the name of the podcast too. Do you have an idea from this Podtron list?
I do. This one is called My Favorite Murder This Weekly. Which
okay.
I think that the Podtron probably meant this week. So this would be a show of not doing a whole heck of a lot of research because it's new, but we, or I guess in-depth research on one crime. It'll be more of a shotgun blast of trying to read a little bit about every murder that happened and find out which one's my favorite.
So this would be kind of like when they do the little 1 minute Planet Money during the week on NPR. It would just be us, a subsidiary of the My Favorite Murder podcast, but we're just talking about whatever murder happened this week.
Yeah.
There's going to be some rough weeks where they're all just like...
I mean, it is going to be like market analysis in that we don't know everything that we're going to know about these murders, but there are just certain things to watch for that will tell you like this one might have legs. And one like the
this
like,
one
for example,
did
the
have
killer
legs,
cut off her
know.
legs. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm just imagining us sitting around the writer's room at 6:00 in the morning, looking over. We've got copies of every major newspaper, and we're like, I don't know, this one, a little black boy was shot. Over here is a former senator. Who are we gonna choose for our favorite murder for the week? Who have we got sponsoring the show? It's it the boner pills this week? Or is it the job listing website? Who do they want us to pick for that? Oh, man. And then at the end of every show, we also have to run like a disclaimer that's like, none of this is financial advice. Also,
you can't invest in murders unless you're producing your own documentary or podcast. I guess that's what you're doing in a way.
Also, this show does not retain any responsibility for any unreported murders that may have happened this past week. Because that's the thing, is that someone's gonna
Everybody wants to be the top of the pops,
Yeah. There's gonna be a murder that happens on our watch and we didn't know about it.
Well, that's why what we're going to do is we're going to do this one in conjunction with the real life superheroes one, and we'll blow it up and we'll have the map and we'll have the heat spots of where the real life superheroes are, and maybe we can direct them like superhero dispatchers to solve these crimes.
And our superhero team name is the Anti-Murderers.
Yeah. It's catchy.
But we do murder the murderers when we find them.
Well, yeah.
We're not called the unmurderers, all right? We're righting wrongs. Yeah. We're not fixing problems.
Yeah, we aren't trying to monkey around with things that are God's purview, but
Mm.
well within our own purview is sending real life superheroes to kill suspected murderers.
I mean,
We're getting in
killing.
on these fresh. They have not been convicted in a court of law.
This is farm to table justice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I have another one from the Podtron here. This is funny. Sometimes, folks, we make a list of all the stuff we're going to talk about before the show, and we don't talk about what we're going to talk about most of the time. But sometimes there's just a perfect, like all the planets and the stars align, a syzygy, if you will, of topics. This is an idea that the Podtron has pitched that I wrote down. The Amazing Spider-Man with Tom Arnold.
I saw that one. Now, who do you think that? Do you think Tom Arnold has the titular role?
So you're saying, is Tom Arnold playing Spider-Man?
Yeah,
or is
is
Tom
it...
Arnold bearing witness to Spider-Man?
Yeah, they are a new team up. Like Marvel loves to do their team ups. It's for a few months we're gonna get the continuing adventures of Spider-Man and Tom Arnold.
Let me throw something completely different at you.
Okay.
What if I told you Tom Arnold is not attached to The Amazing Spider-Man with Tom Arnold?
Tell me more.
It's time for the Timothée Chalamet Oscar bait movie. Chalamet is Arnold in The Amazing Spider-Man with Tom Arnold. He's already put on the weight. We're working with a dialect coach.
Yeah.
They say that he's been having sex with Roseanne Barr
Yeah.
to get into the role.
He spent the last 6 months on her weed farm in Hawaii.
Roseanne Barr now has chlamydia, folks.
The year is 1996. Fresh off the hit of True Lies, Hollywood has opened its doors to Tom Arnold. Finally. He's got a big hit comedy on the way out, The Stupids. And it's a guaranteed huge hit. And following that, they've given him the role of Spider-Man. That's where we're at.
Oh, I thought he was going to get invited to his old friend's science laboratory where a spider bites him.
Okay. Even better. Okay.
Yeah. His friend
I was
Norman
thinking about
Osborn.
making like an inside baseball Hollywood kind of comedy.
Oh.
I think that this is much better.
This was my idea for how to save the DC universe, was to make a TV show that tied into all the films, but where the actors are all playing parody versions of themselves. So like you have Gal Gadot playing Gal Gadot.
Isn't that just Entourage?
But yes, so this is my idea, and I think that it still stands. They could still pull this out of the, so they get all of these movie stars to do a tie-in TV series a la Entourage, where it all takes place like on the back lot of the Warner Brothers studio, and they're all like playing these diva prima donna versions of themselves. And then we get Colin Hanks to play like this harried production assistant who has to take care of all of them. And there's like one episode where Jason Momoa converts to Christianity, and he keeps demanding that they add some lines into the new Aquaman movie where Aquaman acknowledges that Jesus is the one and true savior and way to heaven. Mm-hmm. And Colin Hanks is just so stressed out all the time now. And here's the guy who plays Superman. He's grown the mustache again. What are you doing? Come on.
A quick question about Jason Momoa's Christianity. Couldn't what one preacher just like come down and bless the ocean, and then all the water in the world is holy water? Couldn't they just do like a one stop sort of thing? Just go to the beach.
This is the kind of shit that Jason Momoa would be pitching in this. Jason Momoa has become one of those like coffee shop Jack Johnson Christians, which seems like that would be very easy to pull off in real life if you could catch him like on a bad day, like where a loved one had just died. You could get him into that sort of a cult like situation. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what he's doing this. And then what's the funny story for? I mean, I guess that the guy who plays the Flash, you could just replace him on the show with someone making fun of him. Like, who could we get? Oh, what if we got Adam Driver to play Ezra Miller in our TV show about the DC Universe backlot?
I don't know. I almost feel like we need to have a different actor portray Ezra Miller in every scene. Like, do all of our casting off of TikTok and just be like, who feels like they can do 30 seconds of an Ezra Miller performance?
Anytime that anyone says, hey, Ezra Miller, what do you think? Then it's just a TikTok video.
Yeah.
Da Vinci. It's not even like, it's just a 9:16 in the middle of your TV screen of a TikTok video. It's like, yeah. I'm the Joker, baby. No, you are Batman. No, you are not the Flash.
Oh man, now I'm thinking about the Snyder cut was such a big hit. Let's do a TikTok cut.
Do this. Release the TikTok cut.
Yeah, 4 hours of TikToks. Everybody doing every line from the movie.
Oh my god, that's an actually good idea. Holy shit. Holy shit, I want it. Release the TikTok cut. Oh, they could do, you know how you duet a video?
Uh-huh.
Just you do the first line of the Justice League movie. You're just doing the first scene, and then people duet that until your video is just a tiny little pixel in the corner. It's the entire film acted out in
so the entire 4-hour movie, but it's 1 30-second TikTok video
at a time. Yeah, and then it gets divided in half and played with the next part. Yeah, man. Do you have another idea for a podcast?
I do, and this one I'm not really sure what the Podtron was after, but its idea is $1 Million Mike Holowitz, which we did look up before the podcast started. If there is a person named Mike Holowitz, or preferably a $1 Mike Holowitz.
Is there someone named $1 Mike Holowitz? And I looked, and it just kept replacing my search with Mike Horowitz.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like, imagine if someone was doing a racist impression of an Asian guy trying to describe a Jewish guy. That's the name I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, possibly when as holograms take over more and more, we'll have a hologram-centric surname in place. So you know whether you're talking about the real guy or the hologram one.
Yeah.
So maybe $1 Million Mike Holowitz is a hologram of just $1 Mike Horowitz, who's nowhere near as popular as his hologram is.
He's the great-great-grandson of one of the Beastie Boys. Mm-hmm. And then he passed away, and they made a hologram of him that was way more popular than he was.
Yeah.
Dollar Mike Horowitz.
But only in the
Has
sense
been-
that by the time he comes to become the king of the world, the population will have grown by billions. So it's
and
easier
inflation.
to be more popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And inflation. This is like, he pretty much is just twice as rich as Dollar Mike was. He's $1 million Dollar Mike.
He's a toony Mike Horowitz.
Adjusted for inflation, he's $2 Mike Holowitz. I like the idea of Holowitz as a futuristic surname. It implies that your ancestors worked in the hologram. He was
the hologram mines.
Yeah.
Getting mirror lung.
Getting the crystals for the holograms.
Yeah.
$1 million Dollar Mike Holowitz.
But as you can tell, I have very little idea of what this would be as a podcast.
I mean, it could be a thing where, yeah, it is exactly what we were just putting forward, that there was a guy called Dollar Mike Horowitz, and then he died.
Mm-hmm.
And they should do this with more stuff, because, they always Herman Melville was completely forgotten about in his time. He wrote some books that no one liked, and then he died. And then his books were discovered years later, and now they're considered part of like the great American canon.
Mm-hmm.
If only we could bring Herman Melville back as a hologram of himself.
Well, what you've done is made me not want to bet all of my money on murder futures, but on Melville futures. Imagine if we could map out and be like, okay, this guy's going to make no money while he's alive, but once he's dead, you're going to want to be the first guy to get in there, buy those rights.
I know.
Because that used to happen all the time. There are so many great artists where they're like, yeah, he died without a penny to his name. Van Gogh only ever sold one painting. And
yeah.
Yada,
So maybe what we need to do is start a business where we, for a price, will...
a nominal fee,
A nominal fee. You won't even be around to see it. But if you think that your work might be appreciated after you're gone and shuffled off this mortal coil, then we contractually will create a hologram of you, a la Tupac Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to do a victory lap. And you're alive. You can have input on this. You are here with us while you're still alive to help us come up with the perfect hologram of you for when people finally appreciate your Phineas and Ferb fan fiction or whatever it is.
Just bring back Phineas and Ferb. If you got to do it via fan fiction, I'm all for it.
The one guy from Phineas and Ferb, I don't remember if he's Phineas or Ferb.
The one that talked or the one that didn't?
I guess the one that talked.
That'd be Phineas.
Yeah. Did Ferb not talk?
Nope.
My God. I've watched like all of that show, and it never occurred to me that Ferb was mute.
I think he talks occasionally, but very occasionally.
Weird. Huh. The guy that does the voice of Phineas, he's very funny on Twitter. I follow him on there. He'll sometimes just say something like, "Normalize being horny for the guy who did the voice of Phineas on Phineas and Ferb."
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, if you are the person who's horny for Phineas and Ferb, And no one is appreciating. I mean, with the exception of the guy who did the voice of Phineas, I guess he appreciates your horniness.
I think he might not be the right person to lead that movement because he's saying like normalize being horny for yourself, which I think that it's already normal.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll bring you back to life. We'll make $1 million hologram of you. And you can do a little sea walk victory lap around the stage. You can appear before the crew of the Weyland-Yutani spaceship sent out to... Was it called Prometheus? Was that the name of the ship?
I'm trying to remember.
But you know what I'm talking about. They get the... what's that guy's name? Guy... Not Guy Ritchie. The other guy.
Pierce?
Guy Pearce. And he's just in old makeup in that movie as a hologram. Very strange.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And in like a much... I think that it happened many years before Alien, but their hologram technology got a lot shittier in those couple 100 years.
Yeah. I mean, my argument in that is that there's only so much technology out there. And at some point, we're going to use up all of the material we have for making the technology. At which point, we'll probably have to go back and scavenge the older technology that was made more durable until we're back to using those green Apple II monitors for our spaceships.
And there are like roving street gangs that are just destroying all the technology.
The baseball furies, yeah. They've got those guys with the white overalls and the roller skates.
Just smashing anything that's got a plug attached to it.
Yeah. It's a horrible place to live. All right, here's our podcasts for the week. Our possible ideas. We have the Sharpest Image, Real Life Superheroes, Winnie the Poohcast, Beat the Heat, The Perfect Candidate, Summer Camp Podcast, My Favorite Murder This Weekly, The Amazing SpiderMan with Tom Arnold, and $1 Million Mike Holowitz.
There are a few pretty good ones. I think I am most partial to real life superheroes, but I would be down to do something else too. Like, what are you thinking?
I really feel like real life superheroes is the strongest contender that we have this week.
Okay. And there are, like, I think it's a great idea because it made me want to inject it into all the other ideas. I would be, we could do some candidate with it. We could do some Spider-Man with Tom Arnold with it. Some sharper image with it. They might make some good superhero tools. So I think that it's the one that catches the most of the essence of what we're interested in this week. Oh yeah, and also we were going to send them to stop the murders. So yeah.
Man, before we go, I just have to. I'm just getting word. It's so hot that an angry mob has beaten Buster Poindexter to death. Folks, this has been We Don't Have a Podcast Yet. I'm Nathan P. Woodard.
And I'm Andrew James Estes.
Good night.
Winchester
cathedral.